Hey, welcome to Driven Stone Podcast, the podcast where two friends raise a glass and have a conversation. I'm Nick.
I'm Kyle.
Kyle.
Yes, sir.
I sang a little bit.
Yeah. You have a melodious voice.
It's better than being odious. or
Like Odie from Garfield?
Sure.
He didn't have a voice.
Oh, no, he didn't, did he?
No.
Or odiferous.
Odiferous.
Welcome to Driven Stone, where we talk about vocabularies.
Yeah, what does odiferous mean?
As in, like, you smell odorous.
Oh,
I think.
I got you.
Should I look that up?
Odiferous.
Odicious.
You stank. Felt that was a little like Porky Pig. You stink.
I'm looking up odiferous.
Odiferous.
Odiferous. You stank.
Having or giving of a smell.
It
doesn't necessarily say negatively.
No.
Could be, whiskey is odiferous.
Negatively.
Negativity.
Anyway, hey, Kyle.
Hey, buddy.
Today is a Wednesday, and we are back in one of the two studios in which we record this thing.
Indeed.
And guess what we're doing today?
Let's see. Today is casserole making, if I remember correctly.
That is correct. In fact, we have a whole casserole series on Patreon.
Yes, we do.
Where you and I get together
and make casseroles.
And that is not a euphemism.
No, it's not. That's the real thing.
What is your favorite casserole?
Broccoli.
Broccoli casserole?
Yeah. That is my signature.
Does shepherd's pie count as a casserole?
No, that's a pie.
What makes something a casserole?
It doesn't have the firm top, the pie top.
Oh, it's got to be gelatinous?
Or it doesn't also have crust around the bottom either.
Wait a second.
I think to be a pie, there's a pie crust.
Okay, but let me ask you this. Your shepherd's pie, like you put a pie crust on top?
I just had a fisherman's pie.
Okay. I think that's
just a few nights ago.
Sure.
That indeed had like a layer on top.
Okay.
I think of like a chicken pot pie that usually has biscuits on top.
I get you.
That kind of seal it in.
I'm with you. I'm going to say like shepherd's pie. I guess if you're saying like the pie crust is mashed.
Is the potatoes?
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you.
I think so.
Okay. In that case, I kind of like a good like chicken tetrazzini. That's a casserole,
That's
right?
probably casserole.
Okay. Yeah. I'm for that.
Yeah.
My grandparents love them some casseroles.
Man, I mean, granted, coming from Alabama,
Sure.
I mean, it's a hard staple.
Is everyone Alabamian?
Alabamian.
Are you saying this like? Okay.
Alabamian.
Alabama.
It's a hard A.
Sure.
It's Alabamian.
Got it. Are they born knowing how to casserole?
Yeah. I mean, it's like the Tootsie Roll, just the casserole. Yeah. We know how to do it.
I like the way you casserole.
Cotton candy, sweet as gold. Let me see that casserole.
I'm pretty sure those are the lyrics.
Yeah.
On that note, Kyle, today.
Yes, sir.
It is supposedly fall outside.
Yeah. Again, that's what the calendar tells us.
Yeah. If you're not in the southeastern United States, it might actually be fall where you live.
Yeah.
Or heading in that direction.
Or at least looks like it.
Right. If you're the listeners in the South America, it's not going to be fall soon. It's probably spring or heading in that direction.
I think they'd be entering into
summer. Well, that's winter. Spring. They're spring. Right?
Yeah.
All of our listeners.
Welcome out of winter.
Correct. All of our listeners in Australia are thankful that it's becoming
enjoying the flower blooms.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, fall here to me screams one type of whiskey and one type of whiskey only. No, that's not totally true. Fall to me screams Scotch season.
Yeah, it starts the entry,
right. Especially
once you're past October.
Oh yeah, for sure.
October is obviously like pumpkin beer season and Oktoberfest season.
Yep.
Once you're kind of out of October, we've squeaked into November now. Right. I guess we're like midway through November by the time this comes out.
Yeah.
And so it is kind of starting to begin to. You're starting to see Christmas lights. And
yeah,
be reminiscent of
Christmas
the holidays.
Crap in like the hardware stores.
Yeah, for sure.
It started like mid-September. So
yep. I mean, several weeks ago, I said they've already got Christmas beer at Publix. So
yeah, they do.
That signals Scotch season.
Absolutely.
has arrived.
I am not, and I don't think either of us are opposed to drinking scotches any time of year.
No, I had a really nice Scotch era this summer.
Ooh,
That
yeah.
was beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, hell, a couple weeks ago, we did a peated Irish whiskey. And we love our Irish whiskeys. We love peated scotches. We love non-peated scotches. And I just, to me, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's like, it feels cozy.
Yeah.
And like scotches feel cozy to me, and I want to feel cozy even though it's 95 degrees and sweat season outside still.
Yeah.
But I want to sit by a fire that I'm not going to make because it's hot as hell and drink some scotch.
Indeed.
So you know what I think we should do?
What shall we do?
I think we should drink some scotch.
Good thing, because you've got a lot set out for us here.
Specifically, I think it's high time that we feature, honestly, Kyle, I'm going to say it.
Say it, because it's true.
It's one of my favorite, it might even be my favorite Scotch distillery.
I don't think you could say it's one of.
Because I have 6 expressions.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the Bunnahabhain.
Bunnahabhain.
Yeah. If you look at the bottle here in America, it looks like it's Bunnahabhain. But it's Bunnahabhain. You got to have a V in there. That's the BH, the V.
Bunnahabhain. Yep.
Yeah. And we've featured some Bunnahabhain in the past. We've done the regular 12-year.
Yep.
I think we did, right?
We did.
Okay.
I think.
And we also did the
We've at least done, I know it's definitely in the Scotch.
Sure.
Jason, we've definitely featured it at some point.
And we've also done the toe touch.
The toy touch
No, just the
the
regular
toe touch?
No, the regular toe touch.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the toe touch. But here we have a lineup of Bunnahabhains.
Yeah, you've been busy.
Well, I've been saving a bit
Yeah.
because I really love this distillery.
Interesting.
And I've wanted to do this tasting for quite some time. We haven't had the time to
The
do
opportunity.
it. Exactly. And now we do.
Here it is.
So I figure we should do it.
Let's get it on.
So here's what I'm thinking. Okay.
Scotch wise.
Yeah. Oh, sure. No, I mean, I'm thinking that we start with the OG, the 12-year. We'll go through each of these. We'll pour us, maybe a quarter pour.
Yep.
Sniff, taste, discuss, leave a little bit in each glass so we can go back through, run through the lineup again,
So
and
hard
talk
to
about
do.
it. I know. I mean, it's not like we don't have more liquid. Like we can put more liquid in the glasses if we need to.
Probably will.
But why I say that way is because I think we did a benchmark tasting month 2 ago, maybe something like that.
Yep.
And we kind of just went through them. I feel like this deserves a little bit more of a
Nuance.
rolling out of the red carpet, if you will.
Gotcha.
What do you think?
I agree.
Okay.
Wholeheartedly.
So we're going to start with the 12. We'll move to the 18. We'll move to the Studer.
Stay right there.
Yeah. Bunnahabhain loves their Scots Gaelic.
Yep.
Yep. Then we'll move to the 12-year cask strength. Then we'll move to the Chorchach. And then the Chorchachada.
Okay.
Okay. What do you think?
I'm excited.
Dude.
Bring it on.
I've got it. I'm honest. I'm honest.
You are generally an honest fella.
Honestly, I legitimately have been looking forward to this.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. Here we go. All right. Let's start with a 12-year, the regular OG Bunnahabhain. Can I read you some bottle words?
Please.
Okay. Back in 1881, the Bunnahabhain distillery was established in a remote haven beside a natural spring on the rugged Isle of Islay. This wonderful location is the idyllic place for whiskey distillation and produces malts which take you on a voyage of discovery. Our 12-year-old is matured in sherry, bourbon, and whiskey casks for a tranquil balance of soft, sweet fruit and nuts with a hint of seaside smoke. This is a malt with many layers to explore, so says Andrew Brown, the distillery manager.
Sweet.
This 12-year comes in at 46.3, 92.6, and it is indeed, just in case you were concerned, a product of Scotland.
Answers every question I had.
I figured. Before we get into it, I would not call the regular Bunnahabhain a peated Scotch, but they say hints of smoke. And I agree with that, having had the regular Bunnahabhain before. It's not like some people are like, oh, it's got some peat in there. I think it's just like whiffs. So Bunnahabhain, to my understanding anyway, is a distillery that, like most Scotch distilleries, are blending scotches. In that, like, it's not a blended Scotch, but they're taking that single malt Scotch and they're blending casks together to achieve the flavor that they want, which a lot of Scotches do that.
Gotcha.
So that's not to say that this is a blended Scotch. It still is a single malt Scotch whiskey, in that is using a single malt. but it is possible that there are
multiple types of casks.
Correct. And that there
Meaning
is
the ex-bourbon.
Exactly. But it's still the same distillate, but it's like different casks. And it's possible also that there are some older whiskeys in this bottle, but the youngest whiskey is 12 years old.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Which we've talked about before. Ooh. It's always like, I always feel like that's a thing with Bunnahabhain is that like the corks are just like the exact size of the neck of the bottle. So you don't really get a pop. You just get a
I think that happens a lot with the natural corks.
little splash for you. Do we need more splash? Little splash for me.
12 year.
I don't think they're adding any color here. I could be wrong, but I don't think they are. I don't think it's
Natural color.
Oh, okay.
It says so right on the bottle.
Perfect. You know, for being 12 years and for being a Scotch, it's got some good color on it.
Sure.
Light honey, would you say?
Yeah.
God, I just spilled it all over me. You saw that. Like, I am not making this up. It happens every episode.
Complete episode.
On the nose. Oh, hello, old friend. There's something about this that just makes me want to like get a leather bound book and sit in a big leather chair.
Yeah.
Surrounded by leather.
In the forest.
With a fire.
Surrounded by like just beautiful, like just pine trees and stuff.
Oh my God. It's so like the nose on this.
Moss. Like everything
so
covered
good.
in moss.
Yeah. Makes me want to wear a kilt. You want me to go change real quick? I can wear my kilt.
How long does that take?
To take off pants and put on a kilt? 5 seconds.
Oh, okay. I've seen videos of like dudes putting on like legit kilts where they have to like fold it up and roll it on.
No, mine's an easy kilt.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I easiest kilts for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. Clip-on ties.
Oh well, come on. You hurt my feelings, sir. I had one feeling, and you have hurt it.
I stepped right on it.
Oh my God! Like, okay, so to me, like the nose on this is fruit forward, and it is just like warming in all the right ways. It reminds me of Christmas.
Bunnahabhain make a hell of a hot toddy.
Oh, hell yeah, it would.
I mean, all you really need to do is just warm it.
Just throw it
Because
in
it
the microwave
literally
for a
almost
second.
has everything else in it.
It really does.
It's got the honey in it.
Yep.
It's got the touch of lemon.
Yep.
You're done. You're there. It just smells like a hot toddy.
What's in your mug? 12 ounces of warm Bunnahabhain.
Like I even smell like tea.
Yeah. It is the perfect nose. Here's the thing. The bottle words said hints of smoke. I get no smoke. But I wonder, like, because I think of peaty scotches, like peat is such a discernible note that when you say smoke, I'm like, nah. But like, I get none of that. But it does say like hints of smoke. Like on the back of the bottle here, subtle balance of sweet fruit and nuts with a hint of seaside smoke.
Complex bouquet with aromas of dried fruits.
Yep.
Toasted
totally
nuts.
Yep.
Vanilla and the coast.
Okay. Hey.
Yeah, it's weird.
No sniffing. Time for sipping. Oh, it's honey sweet, but it's like warmed honey, spicy honey, friendly AF. Like this to me is an entry level Scotch that I feel like everyone should try. If you are mildly interested in Scotches, this is a perfect entry level Scotch.
Indeed.
But what's interesting to me is like even someone who I think I'm pretty well versed in Scotches, freaking love it.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's nothing not to like. There's nothing in it that's like, that's a little funky or a little off there. It's got a good proof kick.
Yep.
The flavors on it are just absolutely like delightful.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's really just nothing to be upset about.
There's just enough complexity with the fruit notes. You mentioned toasted nuts. I've never really get it. I've never really gotten toasted nuts, but
Me
like
neither.
I get the.
I didn't say that. That was on the bottle.
That was on the bottle. Yeah. You read it. Well, we both read it, I guess. But I get this like warming sensation. It literally like makes me want to sit by the fire. Of course, not in Florida, but you know.
Yeah, it's literally like a cup of tea. Like a cup of tea is like an overused simplification of like a happy thing.
Sure,
that's my cup of tea.
Right.
That's literally like a cup of tea.
I mean, what's not to like?
Nothing.
Honestly,
there's really not. Like,
No.
There's really nothing that you should be like. That's a little off-putting.
And to me, like what's beautiful about this bottle too is that it's in a price range, at least here in the United States, here in our area.
Right.
That like it's not cheap, but it's not like an investment bottle. This is a bottle that you would be comfortable buying several of. This is a bottle that like I mean, I would share this with everybody because it's not something I'm like, nope, got to hold this back. But it definitely is like, this is just slightly special.
I've absolutely had people come over to my house.
Yep.
That they enjoy bourbon. And they're like, I haven't really had that many scotches, and it's not usually my thing.
Yep.
And usually I think that means they had a peated scotch.
Correct.
And I'm like, let me get one for you to try.
Yep.
And I always go to Bunnahabhain 12.
Yep.
And every single time they're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
That's actually really good.
Yeah, because, I think that there's a misnomer or a misidentification when you say Scotch, people automatically think of Lafroig Lagavulin.
Right.
And definitely when you say Isla, they think of Lafroig Lagavulin. They think of, Bowmore. They think of these like heavily kind of peated Scotches,
Right.
Ardbeg, obviously. And this presents Isla in a different way.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. Now, we're going to get into some of the Bunnahabhains that are peated and are punchy, but I really appreciate that Bunnahabhain's like, y'all have the peat on that side.
Right.
We're going to like just back off a little bit.
Right.
So to me, to say like this is a peated Scotch, absolutely it's not. But it's such a rich experience in a glass that freaking love it.
Right.
Yeah. You want to move to the next one?
Let's move along.
You want to go bottle for bottle? You want me to do 3 and you do 3?
Okay. I'm doing it.
Do it. Oh,
The Bunnahabhain 18.
18. Can I say real quick? This is not a cheap bottle. So
Isn't that a thing?
yeah. So where the 12 is a
Extra
relatively
6
like-
years.
Yeah, where the 12 is a relatively easy bottle to find
Yeah.
and not cost prohibitive. This is one of the most expensive bottles I've ever purchased.
No shit.
Yeah,
That's more for the Gulf Coast?
yeah.
No kidding. That's it's not shocking. Just nothing to go there.
No, they're all that way. Is that a fake?
That's a white cork.
It's a white cork.
That's interesting.
Pour that up because you got a whiff of like a cork pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Delicious.
a nice sound. Oh, okay.
Ooh, I'm already seeing a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, a little bit of color difference. Did you pour some on you?
I think a drip escaped.
That was like $90 worth of whiskey you just wasted.
Drip on the drip.
You want me to read it? You want to read
Oh, yeah, bottle words.
Are they
Shit.
different?
The haven of Bunnahabhain, pronounced Bunnahabhain, and meaning mouth of the river. Was that?
That wasn't on the other one.
All right. Yeah, bottle words, man. Here you go.
Okay.
The haven of Bunnahabhain, pronounced Bunnahabhain, and meaning mouth of the river,
Right.
was discovered by the keenest explorers back in 1881.
Ooh, I like the keen explorers.
Yeah, I like the keenest of the keen. You know what I mean?
I do.
And to this day, our distillery is still rewarding the adventurous with whiskeys that have complex layers and hidden depths. Our 18-year-old is matured exclusively in ex-sherry casks.
Oh.
This malt is deliciously smooth, yet intriguingly complex.
Okay.
Fragrances of dried fruit, honey, and toffee burst into flavors of sherried nuts, rich oak, and salted caramel.
So there is a difference between the 18 and the 12. In terms of like the 12 was what? Ex-bourbon and...
I think ex-sherry also.
Was it ex-bourbon and sherry?
Bourbon.
Matured in sherry, bourbon, and whiskey casks.
And whiskey.
So that's just ex-sherry casks, though.
Yeah, exclusively.
Exclusively. Okay, so there should be a pretty, what I perceive to be a dramatic difference. If the Highland Park Gulf Coast is any indication.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Dried fruit, sherried with toffee and spicy notes, leading to a rich, honeyed nuttiness with hints of salt.
Can I see the bottle for a second?
But yeah, I mean, 4 or 5 shades darker.
Yeah. Same proof, though, 46.3.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely shades darker. Demonstrably so.
Which makes you think thicker.
Oh, buddy. That is a sweet nose. Give me a little swirly swirl.
I'm getting like a weird onion
What?
thing on it, or like a garlic.
Okay, now that you say
Or
that, now I get it, but I didn't get that until you said it. Okay.
That's so bizarre.
Okay.
I mean, I would imagine that's like the saltiness that they're talking about.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay.
I'm like,
Now that you say that, now I can't unsmell it.
I know when I got her off of that,
I did not smell that at all.
That's got to be
though.
a funky glass.
Interesting.
That's bizarre. It's like it's sort of peppery
Okay.
in that realm, but like it's definitely like leaning garlic.
I see that now. It's like,
Like-
sweet garlic.
Yeah, like buttered garlic. Like like
Like
buttery.
roasted buttery garlic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so can I set the garlic onion aside? Let's
But
see.
it's like drowned in honey.
Oh man, it's super sweet nose. But now I can't unsmell garlic.
I know, right?
I've never gotten that before.
That's so bizarre.
Maybe it's the glasses. I don't think it is though.
I did pickle those garlic.
Should I smell it? Smell the other
Cloves.
glass? Smells like garlic.
That'll do it.
No, it's definitely like you can tell that there is more age on this nose. Like there is depth to this.
Yeah, and it's got that dark sweetness.
Yeah, that like mahogany sweet.
Yeah.
It's like you walked into like an old bookstore. Like the bookstore itself is old. All the books are old. The shelves are old.
It's right next to an Italian restaurant. There's marinara on everything.
Okay, I'm going in.
I don't taste garlic. I taste pepper. I definitely get some pepper on it.
Oh yeah, it's peppery. And I can't attribute the pepper to the proof or anything. So I think it's just there's something about that sherry cask that like I get the fruit notes, I get the dark, kind of brooding mahogany aspect, but there's like a bright cracked pepper note there.
Yeah, right on the end.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
That's very interesting.
Okay. I might say something that might be a little sacrilegious.
What's that?
If I'm comparing the two, because that's all I have.
Right.
I don't know if the 18 is that much better.
Better is such a horrible word.
I agree. But like, okay, in terms of like, generally the American perception is the longer it's aged, the better it's going to be.
Right.
And if I'm thinking in that term, it's not.
Right.
But if I think in the kind of the way that the whiskey aficionado, if you will, or the nerd is like, what is different about that 18-year age?
Right.
And if I'm comparing the two, I think the 12-year might be the better pour in terms of like the more well-rounded pour, the more even pour,
Right.
the more, dare I say, curated pour.
Well, I think it might be the more satisfying.
Oh, that's probably, yeah, that might be a great way to approach it.
1,000% the more friendlier.
Yeah.
I think this one, like, I'm really surprised how much of an oaky, well, I mean, I shouldn't be. It's 18 years old. But the oakiness of it is very prominent, and that stays with you on the finish.
Yeah.
Really
Really
predominantly.
prominently. Yeah, yeah. I thought it was going to be sweeter. It was going to be sweeter on the palate because of the age, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, it's definitely not sweeter than the 12-year. But it's a different sweetness, too.
Correct.
Whereas, like, the 12-year is more honey, more brighter sweetness.
Yep.
This is definitely a darker, kind of more of a brown, sugary kind of sweetness.
Agreed.
I think it's the more interesting,
yes,
but maybe not more satisfying. The other one is just has a fucking
it's friendly.
bow
Yeah,
on it.
it's friendly. It's friendly.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to the next one. Now, this is the first of the series that is still in their core range, but it starts to play with some ideas here, and this is the Stewardeur.
Stir.
I know I'm making that sound kind of French, but
Stop moving. You just stir it there.
Stewardeur. All right. Pronounced Stewardeur. Stewardeur is a tribute to the sea and its influence on our distillery and the whiskey we distill. Our blender has carefully selected casks with spirit of varying ages from our shoreside distillery warehouses to create this distinctive dram with its rich, characterful heart typical of Bunnahabhain. Matured in sherry cask, Stewardeur has scents of dried fruit, caramel, and vanilla with a nutty, creamy taste and long, fruity finish. The Gaelic meaning of Stewardeur is helmsman. So the idea here that I perceive anyway is that there's a bit of a little bit more briny nature to it. And I think that might be what they're trying to impart here. This too is 46.3, 92.6. Seeing the pattern here?
I do.
Yeah.
Age statement?
No age statement because it's a blend. What did they say? Our blender has carefully selected casks with spirits of varying ages.
Gotcha.
But I think from what I understand or what I'm reading here is that these come from the side of the distillery that is more facing the ocean.
Gotcha.
Or
So it's
like maybe
more
closer.
access to the ocean air.
At least maybe that's what I want because
Sea
it's called
mist.
helmsman. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like that.
Thanks. I read it well. I think.
I concur. Oh, adorable.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Day Nodder.
Color-wise,
Yeah.
lightest of the three so far.
Is it?
I think so.
I agree. Now that I see that.
I think it's got the 12-year beat just by a hair.
Just by a hair. Yep. You've already smelled it. I'm still rolling. Maybe it's just because I want it to be, but there's a salty note there.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, no. I get that too. Like everything about this is
like
brighter.
Salted pretzel.
I was going to say, like, I feel like it's a wheat field by the ocean.
Okay.
I get some sort of either wheat field or
pretzels made with wheat.
Grain. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, it's probably in the same ballpark.
Yeah, and what I mean by that is like there's still some of that like dark caramel note, like you would kind of get with a good like traditional like soft pretzel, but like just that like heavy salted, but like it's heavily salted, but like it's not too much. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of salt.
Yeah, you're right. Bright is the right word here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Light and bright.
Light and bright. Light bright?
Yeah, this one is not sweet forward.
Nope.
This one was way more about the grain.
I agree.
You know, and about the non-sweetness.
I would say like this leans more bourbony to me. Like you've got the bourbon notes of like dusty wheat field by the ocean. I mean, I know you said that, but like that's exactly what I'm getting.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't reminisce me of bourbon because I don't get caramel or vanilla or any of those things. I really don't get a sweet off the nose.
Right.
It's really just.
I'm thinking like the wheaters that we've had. I always kind of lean dusty wheat. And that's what I'm getting with like a hint of ocean. Like, I'm not saying like the bourbon caramel vanilla notes. I'm just like that kind of honey nut note, and then like you soaked some honey nut in some seawater, like
right.
Cheerios and seawater.
Like I just this morning, like I've got a bottle of that Buffalo Trace White Dog.
Yeah,
and I opened that just to like smell it, just because like I hadn't done that in a while. And this is actually like very similar to that. I feel like because it takes out all those dark. Deep notes.
Yeah.
And it's just everything that's light and bright.
Right.
Left over.
I'm going in. Oh, dude. That is remarkably different.
Indeed.
Wow.
Like, same thing on the palate.
Yeah. It's salty. It's a little briny.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds you, like, I kind of want to eat this with, like, oysters. Like, I feel like this would be a good, like, oyster drink.
Oh my God. Like, any time I have scotch, I'm like, that would be so good with oysters.
Mm-hmm. But this predominantly because, like...
And every fucking oyster place knows that.
Oh, yeah.
Because their scotch on the menu is like
so damn expensive.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Their bourbons are fucking cheap.
Yeah.
But their scotches are like, oh, yeah, we know.
Yeah. Or unless you get that like hole in the wall and they're like, we don't have scotch.
Yeah.
You want Johnny Walker?
Y'all got Cutty Shark?
Right.
I can take a little Cutty Shark.
Shark?
Y'all got some...
Sark.
Y'all got some Dewar's White Labor? I'll take that.
Can I have that with Coke? I've got a problem. That is fucking delicious. And it's battling the other two in the best way possible. So it's not really a problem because I've got all these bottles.
Yeah.
But like...
That's a tough problem. I like it.
I do like it. This is a relatively easy bottle to find. And it's cheaper than the 12-year. I think it's just a hair below. To me, it's friendlier than the 18. Not as friendly as the 12, but it presents some different notes here that like they're doing it for me.
Yeah.
And I would say like that to me is like someone who has had the 12, but like anything different, you add a little bit something different.
Right.
Go with that.
Yeah. Try a different variation on it.
All right. Thoughts so far. We're halfway through. Mm-hmm. You could have a pour of one more. What you taking?
Oh man.
I know it's tough.
At this point, I'd still go 12-year.
I would too.
Yeah.
I like the Stewarder.
I do too.
But 12-year.
Stewarder. To me,
I will right here.
Is a little bit, and the only reason I would give it to the 12 is I think the Stewarder is a little bit. I don't want to say that about that. I'm going to say it the other way.
Okay.
I think the 12-year has a little bit more depth.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit more depth of flavor.
Sure.
There.
It's not as bright.
It's not as bright and just has a little bit more depth. Where the Stewarder, everything is kind of like surface level.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, there's not as much complexity, I think, too.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, you want to move on to the...
Man, delightful all the way around.
Coveted cask strength.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. So, quick story about this bottle.
Yep.
Actually, I have stories about all these bottles, which I also find kind of fun, too.
Right.
But quick story about this bottle. I had searched for the cask strength for like 3 years. Mm-hmm. And it was, from what I could tell, it was one of those, like, you could find it in international markets pretty easily. You could find it in, like, duty-free stores pretty easily if that store carried Bunnahabhain products.
Right.
But you couldn't really find it in the U.S. very easily. And for whatever reason, about 3 to 6 months ago, you could find it pretty easily, at least in our neck of the woods.
Right.
It's not a particularly price prohibitive bottle like I thought it would be, but it was like, couldn't find it. Oh, there it is. And I found it in one place, and then I found it in a bunch of places, and then it was gone. And then like a couple weeks later, I found it in other places.
Right.
So like I don't know if it's one of those things like it's making its rounds, but this is the cask strength 12-year. And it comes in at 55.1.
Booyah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this bottle the same day that I got Springbank, but that's the only time I ever saw it.
Right.
Was at that one location.
Yeah. I've seen it at a couple locations, and
Just out of curiosity, how many different stores did it take for you to accumulate these bottles?
6.
Wow,
6
you got
bottles,
every
6
single one of them at a different place.
store. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty cool.
Maybe 5, because I think the Toe Touch Ada and the Stewardess came from Wine Totally.
Right.
Yeah, it might be 5.
That's cool.
Yeah, because the Toe Touch, which we're gonna get to next, I saw it once and I have never seen since. And you can tell it's an older label too.
Right.
So
Oh yeah, it's the older style.
yeah. Real quick, bottle words. Back in 1881, the Bunnahabhain distillery was established in a remote haven beside a natural spring on the rugged Isle of Isla. This wonderful location is the idyllic place for whiskey distillation and produced malts, which take you on a voyage of discovery. Sounds very familiar to the 12-year. However, here's the difference. Proof.
Sorry, spoiler alert.
Deep russet gold. This cask strength 12-year is a celebration of our Bunnahabhain house style, delivering big hints of chocolate, spice, and dried fruit. So says Mr. Brown, the distillery manager. On the front, small batch distilled, intense flavors of chocolate, spice, and dried fruits. No color added, non-chill filtered, product of Scotland. 55.1%, so 110.2.
Boom.
Which, I mean, I wouldn't say dramatically higher, but it's definitely higher.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
It should stand out in that way.
Okay, I just want to point out, it's not like these bottles. It legitimately is every bottle of Bunnahabhain I've ever had. Just you got no cork pop.
Yeah, no, I did the same thing. I had a little taste of Port Charlotte this early this afternoon.
Brulati? Yeah.
Same thing. Just
Yeah.
whoop, whoop. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, yeah?
Yeah. A little cask strength Bunnahabhain, man.
Oh, come on.
That should be the biggest for us.
Uh-huh.
Because Bunnahabhain won, hands down, our first Scotch tasting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to go back and think of like what else was in that. But still,
Something.
it won hands down.
For sure it did.
You know, like easily.
And in the tasting where we got all of them right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we're
for
like,
sure.
That's the one.
That's by far the best.
Absolutely.
So, you know, a cask strength version of that should
And
absolutely.
That's honestly why I've been searching for it so readily. Because, like, I know you and I both love cask strength whiskeys.
Yep.
And we both love Bunnahabhain. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. On the nose.
Okay.
Freaking heaven.
The nose to me, exactly the same as the 12 year. So I'm kind of going to grab that glass.
Sure. I don't disagree, but like what you would expect, it is a 12-year with higher alcohol, like a proof pop. It warms the nose hairs a bit.
Yeah. They're practically the same thing.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Woo! Got a little burning nose hairs.
Yeah. It just gives you a little bit more of that twingy kind of like, a little burny nose.
Little something different.
Yeah, it's just the proof.
That's what I'm saying. Like that like you get the same notes, but then like
More stringent.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the same kind of dried fruit, the same kind of like no hints of smoke to me, but like just super well rounded, really warm, friendly AF. Even at the cask strength, like yes, you get proof, but just like, oh, hello, friend.
Honey and dried fruit.
Oh man,
Touch of like almond.
Oh, that's good. So you are getting the toasted nuts.
They're not toasted.
Okay.
They're not on fire. Just a little dry almond.
Warmed? Are they like microwave nuts?
It's like, oh shit, I had those nuts in my back pocket. It's a little warm.
Is that where you keep your nuts in your back? On that note, I'm going in. Ooh.
Dare I say, just the lightest whiff of peat.
Just a
cork pop.
A what? Yeah, I agree. Like it really is like just a bit. It's like campfire 3 towns over and the wind's blowing just right and you catch a, what's that? Somebody barbecue? Kind of thing. But like, I would not call it smoky.
Oh,
I would not call it peaty by any means, but it is a little more prominent on the cast
I
strength.
feel like I can just pull it out.
I was a little bit taken aback by the proof initially because you go in expecting the 12 year and then you get the proof and you're like, oh, you get the chills and they're multiplying kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then like once you settle in for a second, it actually accentuates all the notes that I love about the 12 and just pushes them a little bit further. I will say the bitter to me is almost like, I don't want to say it's approaching too much because like in terms of bitter, like nowhere near it. But like when you think about what I want out of a Bunnahabhain and what I love about the 12 year,
Right.
it pushes that bitter like just on the side of like no longer your everyday, everyone's going to love this bourbon.
I was just going to say
bourbon,
it's,
Scotch.
It surprises me how much oak comes forward.
Yeah.
I would never have thought raising the proof would make the oak stand out.
And it totally does.
I would have thought it'd been the other way around, you know? It would like hide it and just the sweetness would be the only thing that could come through.
Nope.
But like this is really kind of surprising in that way.
Yeah, I would go so far as like heavy oak.
Yeah. This has like the
great.
oak nature of the 18.
It does. All right. Now that we've got 4 of the Bunnahabhains down, Kyle, are you ready
Oh shit.
to go into the peated Bunnahabhains?
Let me stretch.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
Go ahead and grab the toe touch.
Okay.
No, not the toe. Not touch your toe. Grab the cho-cho-cho-cho-cho.
Gotcha.
I think it's a cho-chuch.
A toy.
Toy.
Chutch.
Toy. Oh, shush.
I mean, it says toy teach.
Yeah.
Is what it says.
Okay.
Toy teach.
Read me that bottle.
Okay. This single malt embraces a powerful position. A unique variation on the famous gentle taste of Bunnahabhain, Isla's single malt Scotch whiskey.
Right.
What if a touch of smoke from our peated malted barley was introduced in the distillation process?
What if?
Question mark.
I'm interested.
Toy teach, pronounced talk chotch.
You see my confusion.
Talk chotch. Talk shotch. Talk chotch.
Turn it to me real
It says TOCH space
Toch.
TOCH
Toch.
space
Shach.
CHACH.
Toch. Shosh. Toch. Shosh.
Talk shosh.
Do your Sean Connery.
Indiana. Talk chotch.
Nailed it.
Talk chotch means smoky
Oh,
in Gaelic,
sure it does.
reflecting the seeming contradiction that this PD paradox represents.
I love the alliteration.
Yeah, so totally. Yeah, PD paradox. I love it.
Ooh,
A little bit better.
that was actually probably a nice one. Yeah, no,
and
that was kind of a nice one.
All wet and everything. Then this one. Woo! We going light.
Yeah, I would say like especially out of all of the 4 that we've had thus far,
Yeah.
this is definitely the lightest one for sure.
Yeah.
What's the proof?
46 even.
We
left off that 0.3.
0.3.
We left it off.
92. So like when I look at this, I'm thinking like this reminds me more of like scotches that I'm used to, if you
Yeah.
will. Like
Peated scotches.
oh, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. And I wonder now that you say that, is that a thing of peated scotches? Like they just
It
tend
must
to
be.
lighter?
I can't think of a dark peated scotch for whatever reason.
God.
You know?
I smelled it, Kyle. Oh, this is everything that the 12 is with a hint of peat.
Yeah.
Like this takes the 12, the friendliness, the roundedness, the sweet, the subtle soft edges, and it just like, hey, here's something else.
You know what?
Now tell me what.
I don't normally grasp a hold of the Band-Aid.
You got Band-Aid?
This has got a lot of Band-Aid.
That's interesting. I never get Band-Aid on Bunnahabhain. Any peated Bunnahabhain. Lafroig,
This
for
one,
sure.
it
Lagavulin,
jumps out.
Absolutely.
What did he call it? The
Antiseptic.
antiseptic.
Yeah.
It jumps out at me on this one.
No, I don't get that at all.
It doesn't bother me.
No.
I've never been off put by it, but like this one, for whatever reason, that's jumping out.
Enough sniffing, Kyle. Time for sipping. Ooh. That is slightly challenging in the peat.
Sure.
And it's almost like that peat is a different kind of peat than you get on like Lagavulin or Lafroig. It's almost like a more burned peat. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a darker smoke. You know, it's like smelling a campfire that's been burnt with cedar versus a campfire that's being burned with
Live oak or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like a pecan wood or something.
Right.
What's the Texas barbecue? Oh, post oak. Like that really dark, like heavy smoke. Yeah. This, I will say though, delicious.
Yeah.
Like as much as like I'm a little like, wait a second, hold up, pump the brakes. Delicious.
Yeah. Second sip, completely different.
Oh yeah. But that's
Not surprising.
No, that's the quality of peat. You first get peat and then like whoop.
Well, not even that, but like I think going from as many scotches as we've been going through that have been like sweet forward,
Right.
jump into peat. That peat's obviously gonna like dominate, and like the bitterness of the peat was what was so you had to re-register.
Exactly.
But now that second sip, the sweetness is back full force.
Yep. I agree. At first, the sweet is gone, and you just get peat, which I absolutely appreciate. But like you said, once you get past peat, like the peat is still there, which I really like, because out of like a lot of other peated things, the peat like dissipates and it's just gone. It just fades in the background.
Right.
But with each successive sip, the peat has faded, but it's not gone.
Right.
And it cuts through the sweet and it just kind of like caresses it and holds it up.
Right. This has like a more prominent peat. Where I'm like the ones that I think of that happening like Connemara,
Right.
or like the Highland Park 12.
Yep.
The peat levels on that are like so low that it is just kind of a whiff of peat.
Sure.
So that it quickly goes away. But this one is prominent.
Yeah.
I almost feel like it's like mesquite.
I was going to say that. Like it feel, and I mentioned Texas, like post oak.
Right.
It feels different. There's like
It's on the aftertaste.
Peat. Yeah, it's peat, but there's like something else there.
Right.
There's like another note that I'm like, what? What is that?
Yeah.
It's almost like you burned some peat, but then you burned something else with it.
Right.
Charcoal mellow.
Choco mellow.
Charcoal mellow. All right. You want to move on to our last one?
Last one.
All right. We need to actually grab another glass here, Kyle.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
This is the what was it?
Talk.
Talk.
Chalk. Yeah.
Right.
Talk,
So this
talk.
is the sequel.
talk.
I'm just going to read the bottle because it explains it all. So the Toe Touch was the first one, okay? The Ada is the sequel. Here we go. Toe Touch Ada is a
Talk,
sequel to the original peaty paradox of our classic Bunnahabhain whiskeys. A touch of smoke from our peated malted barley is introduced during its creation, combined with a higher sherry influence to give the whiskey a unique taste that provides a truly beguiling experience. With touches of smoke from our peated malted barley, this whiskey's prickling strength emanates from the dram, while warming with a lingering, robust length and delicately sweet sherry influence. So says your friend, my friend, our friend, friend to all, Andrew Brown, the distillery manager at Bunnahabhain. This comes in at a whopping, can you guess?
46%.
0.3.
Oh.
Yeah, they went back to 92 point.
Went back to the classic. I wonder if that's like the new label.
I think it is.
I wonder if the new label is 0.3.
Toe Touch Ada is Gaelic for smoky too. Like TWO.
Smoky
Like,
also?
not also. Yeah. TWO. You ready?
Smoky number 2. Is that more smoke? Super cute.
Are you ready, Kyle?
So ready. Damn.
That is light.
I mean, it's right there with the toe tut with the first one.
You think so?
They're pretty close.
Pretty close? Okay. Maybe I'm just like, because we're not using it in our Glencairns, maybe that's a little different for me.
But it looks like urine.
It does. On the nose though.
Completely different.
Oh, completely different.
Yeah, I get way more honey, way more
Yep.
lemon.
Way more sweet. Less peat. More sweet.
It's like a campaign slogan.
That's a campaign I can get behind in some cases.
Less peat, more sweet.
Oh, I quite like that. That is
Yeah, that's delightful
That
on
is
the
delightful.
nose. This one is surprisingly less on the peat,
It's a little muted. I agree.
but it is on par with the 12.
Oh yeah.
Like the 12 comes through perfectly clear, Like, I feel like at this point, I can almost like pinpoint, yep, that's Bunnahabhain
Yep.
with a touch of peat.
I think the toe touch you couldn't say is Bunnahabhain.
Yeah.
Like very clearly, but the Ada, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, that is Bunnahabhain.
Bunnahabhain with a little peat.
Little Pete. Yeah.
Whereas
Little-
like the
little
first one, the first toe touch was like, whoa, Pete.
Yeah. That's Bunnahabhain?
You're telling me that's Bunnahabhain? I don't
Exactly.
believe you. You're full of shit.
Yeah. Oh, man.
This one, I get it.
But I mean, everything about the original 12 is absolutely there, and it's just accentuated by that just beautiful peat note. Gosh, that is incredible. All right. Can I say it? Can I say it? Can I say it?
Hmm?
Enough sniffing. Time for sipping. Ooh.
The proof hangs on longer.
Yeah. I was going to say that is a better expression than the toe touch, but now that I'm sitting with it, I don't know. The nose to me is better. I don't think the peat is pronounced. It definitely isn't on the palate either. And it could be like, is it because we've acclimated to peat? Absolutely. It could be that.
Yeah, for sure. It could be. It's surprisingly, I feel like it almost tastes watered down.
I agree. It's a little more thin.
Yeah.
It's actually more thin than any of the expressions we've had thus far.
Yeah. The volume of flavor
Yep.
is like cut in half almost, I feel like.
And that's hard to say, like, to be fair, going from peat to peat.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to say, but like it feels a little more thin, and I'm gonna knock it for that. Like it's not, but there is a lovely peppery note that kind of like comes in at the very end. Like I'm getting on the very back of my palate that like, oh, hello pepper. Like that's kind of nice, but it's like Szechuan pepper where it's like a la 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 num num. A little bit like, like the ryes where we've done some rye tastings. It's like, I'm getting a little bit of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's very much related. Like you can definitely tell like it's from the same body of work.
Absolutely.
But this one's a little bit more subtle. And for whatever reason, the proof just like keeps biting, even though it is the 0.3 higher.
Yeah.
But the proof keeps, just biting the edge of my tongue a little bit longer. But the flavors on everything else, it's pretty much the exact same thing. It's just, for whatever reason, the flavors are just muted.
Yeah.
It comes across as the same thing, just a little quieter.
I'm going to say because of that, not as good as a toe touch.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that it's anything that I'd be like, that's like demonstrably worse.
Oh, no, I'm not saying worse.
It's just kind of like, meh. I prefer that year better.
Exactly. You're thinking of like levels of degrees.
Right.
I'm clanking all these glasses together, Kyle. You think of like levels of degrees and like, would I rather X over Y? And right now, like based on what I'm tasting, I would rather the regular toe touch over the Ada.
Yeah. I don't know if there's like years on it, but it's like, I don't know if toe touch Ada.
Right.
Smoky number 2, if it's just like the second expression of the Ada or the
I think it's their evolution. Like we did the thing and like we actually like this better. And
you think they like that better?
I think that's the next expression, and I've only seen this now. It's not like they've gone back to it.
Well, I was just wondering if it was like, this was the original.
Right.
Now this is like our second version, then we'll have the third version.
Oh,
we'll have
I see what you're saying.
Toy Touch 14, Toy Touch 75.
Sure.
Kind of a thing.
It's possible.
If that's where they're going with it. But they crushed that one.
Yep. The
one just
original.
Didn't quite get there.
I get it. Okay, let's do this real quick. Now that we've had 6 scotches, Kyle.
Yep.
We've had 6 Bunnahabhains in this lineup. Rather than saying like qualifying the best.
Yep.
Okay. Let's start here. Question number 1.
Yep.
For the price, which is the most worth it bottle? Okay. Now, you know the price. We've kind of talked a little bit about price.
Yep.
The highest price bottle being the 18 year, and everything else is below that. Like the 12 years below that. The 12 year cast strength is
Where were the toe touches?
around the same price as the regular 12 year.
Okay.
Yeah. The cast strength being the most expensive outside of the 18 year.
Yep.
Generally, the 18 you can find for about $175 US.
Okay.
The cast strength 12 year is about 95 US.
Right around 100.
And the other 4 that we have here, tend to be somewhere in that $50 to $75 range. We'll say that. I know that's a pretty big range, but $50 to $75 range.
Gotcha.
Out of these 6,
Yep.
price-wise, which is the most worth it to you?
For all around aesthetic, flavor, what I want out of a delicious Scotch,
Yep.
it's definitely the 12-year for me.
I'm battling a bit.
Yep.
Okay, I 100% agree that 12 years is fantastic. I think the Strudeher is like battling just a bit.
It was a little less.
I think so. Yeah, it's about the same. Let's just say it's about the same cost. But ultimately, I'm with you. It's the 12-year. I'm battling, sure, but the 12-year, hands down, worth it price-wise. That is a whiskey that, like, I almost like, I don't want anyone at Bunnahabhain to know this, and I know they listen to us, but like, you could charge easily 30 more bucks for it, and I would still pay for it because it's fantastic.
Ooh. That'd be one of those bottles of like, oh man, it was really good. That's really expensive though. Yeah, I'd say the same thing about Springbank.
Sure.
That price sucks though.
Right.
No, I just think it's the 12 because to me, I think like I was saying earlier, I think the 12 has a little bit more depth of flavor than the Stay Right There.
Yep.
Stay Right There is fucking great. If it was like $10 or $15 less,
Sure.
then I would have a really big issue.
Worth it for price. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, value for me, I'm going 12.
Okay, let's do this because I have a couple more questions. Let's run through them.
Yep.
And I want to know, what in this lineup do you need another pour of? So let's just run through them real quick. What do you need another pour of?
Okay.
Oh, I'm battling again, Kyle. All right. Out of this lineup,
Yep.
we've gone through it again.
Yep.
Which do you absolutely need another pour of?
Which one do I need another
Like,
pour of?
you can have only one more pour of these 6 bottles.
like
which
we're
do
on
you-
like a desert island kind of thing,
Sure,
and like you've only got one pour.
sure.
Like which one do you take?
You got one more. Which you gonna take? Like, this is your last pour, Bunnahabhain. Which you gonna take?
And I can never have the other ones ever again.
That sounds good. You're putting a lot of work into this.
Well, I mean,
It's for the podcast. Yeah, I get it.
because I'm a smoky son of a bitch. I'm gonna go for that first toe touch. If that's the only one I can ever get again, and now at this point, having version number 2,
Right.
and I know I like number 1 a little bit better.
I do too.
That's probably where I'd go.
I'm battling again. I'm battling between the cast strength and the toe touch.
Yep.
As much as I love the regular 12, if I could only have one more pour of Bunnahabhain, the cast strength is great. Toe touch.
Yeah.
Regular toe touch.
Yeah.
for
Good choice.
sure.
Good choice.
Thank you. We are in agreement, sir.
We are in agreement.
Okay. I got one more question.
Okay.
Okay. You're going to introduce someone to the world of Bunnahabhain.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
This is a person who is pretty well versed in whiskey.
Yeah.
So they're not a novice. What do you got to give them?
I'll go 12-year cask strength on that one.
Interesting. See, I'm going to go.
Stay right there.
Yeah, stay right there. And the reason being, it's if they're a whiskey, if they know something about whiskey, that's Bunnahabhain, but something different. But I would preface it with like, this is not your normal Bunnahabhain.
Right.
And that's how I would approach it.
I would approach it in the exact same way.
Yeah.
And by doing that, I would assume if you've already had Scotch and you're pretty well versed in it,
Yep.
you've probably already had Bunnahabhain 12.
Probably.
So you know what that is.
Correct.
So like, hey, have you had it at cask strength? That's a little bit harder to find. Try that out.
I see that.
And assuming that you like whiskey,
Right.
yeah, you can handle a cask
you're
strength.
gonna want to engage in that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, give that a shot.
You got any questions?
What do you think is the most unique?
The most unique, I'm gonna say, out of the lineup, the 18-year.
Agreed.
I think the 18-year, it provides just a different level of depth and complexity that the other 5 do not have. Because like, you can taste the base level in the other 5.
Right.
You get to that 18-year and it shifts something. And I'm not saying it's better, but I think it is the most unique out of all of these.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. I think that is the most unique one because in understanding like what the 12 is, how much we love the 12,
Right.
that 18 was a curveball.
It's a curveball. Yeah.
Like did not see that coming. Like it's really different.
For sure.
You know, like you can see the relationship between the rest, and then
Yep.
obviously you get into the toe touch with the peat, and that's a little bit of a different conversation. But
Right.
the 18 was so different.
Yeah, I almost think of like the core 4 here, if you will, as being like separate from the toe touch and the toe touch da.
Yeah.
Like it's just a little bit like that. Yes, that separates it because of peat. But like thinking about the 4, it's the 18 year. Like it's just that much different.
1,000%.
What else you got?
Which one are you probably least likely to purchase again?
The 18. Yeah, I mean, and it's an amalgamation of cost,
Right.
difficulty in finding that bottle, and like, don't get me wrong, I like it for what it is, but it's one of those like I've had it and I'm good. Same with like last week.
Right.
I've had the Gulf Coast. I'm good.
Right.
Like I don't need it again. I'm
Right.
happy to have it on my shelf. I guess if I want to be that kind of guy that, you know, we all know of like, oh man, I got that on my shelf. Okay. But I want to drink the liquid.
Yeah.
And as much as I love Bunnahabhain, give me the 12-year over the 18.
Right. Yeah, no, like that makes a crap ton of sense.
Yeah. Which I think flies in the face of like what we think of in America anyway of bourbon age statement mentality. Everyone's seeking that age statement.
I don't think it's necessarily like in the face of it, but I think it's also like I think it's where we're at in our whiskey experience. We can appreciate that now.
Yeah.
Of like, yeah, no, it's fantastic to do that and to experience that thing,
Right.
but it didn't wow me.
Right.
Or it's like I've had that experience now.
I'm good.
Cool. Yeah, I can move on from it.
Right.
I understand still. Like, no, that 12-year, y'all nailed it.
Yeah.
You got it right there. I'll make sure I've always got that on my shelf.
For sure.
You know?
I love, like, I will say on the podcast, everyone can see, everyone can see, I love me some Bunnahabhain.
Right.
So ultimately, here's what I'm hearing. You cannot go wrong with any of the Bunnahabhain expressions, but the 12-year is the core for a reason. It is the solid base of all of this. If you have not yet tried Bunnahabhain, or you've tried any other expressions other than the 12-year, you need to go out and pick up a bottle of 12-year because
Yeah.
it is honestly one of the best, if not the best, single malt whiskeys I've had.
Yeah.
Pound for pound, dollar for dollar, it is incredible.
1,000%. Like it's hard to think of another distillery label
Sure.
that their baseline hits so hard
So perfectly.
compared to everything else that they offer.
Yep.
Like they crushed it.
Agreed completely. So we want to know what you think about the Bunnahabhain distillery as a whole. We want to know, what is your favorite expression? Have you had multiple expressions? Have you had expressions we haven't had? We want to know your thoughts and opinions on Bunnahabhain. Hell, we want to know your thoughts and opinions on Scotch.
Yeah. Isla Scotch specifically.
Absolutely.
Where do you land in the island of Isla?
Exactly. And you know what? Scotch in general. What have we not tried that you're like, you know what, you guys, you need to try this Scotch? How have you not tried this yet? What are you doing with your life? Go out and try this right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because we love Scotch and
We do.
you know, we'll probably do it.
For sure. And it is honestly, it's Scotch season here, sort of, in Florida. And I want to drink more Scotch.
Yeah, for the next 4 months.
Scotch it is.
Probably what we're drinking.
Scotch and Irish whiskey. Absolutely.
You know it.
Yeah. Well, you can get in touch with us through email. That's drepandstone@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us through social media.
It's always one word, Drep and Stone, DREP and Stone. Come over there, find us, like a thing, share
Hell
a
yeah.
thing, comment on a thing.
Absolutely.
We'll get right back to you.
Yeah. Oh, well, within reason.
We'll probably get right back to you.
Probably right back to you.
As long as it's not like a really wordy, like,
Or
offensive
like
email or something.
2 a.m. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you might be up. I ain't up.
Give us 48 hours.
At best. You can also support. We'd love it if you support the podcast through our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/drepandstone. A lot of awesome, brilliant, fun stuff going on there. You don't want to miss out.
Yeah. Crap ton of content over there that we don't post anywhere else except for on Patreon.
Absolutely. Well, you know, at least first anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. And a lot of cool perks going on there. You're going to love it. We also would love it if you support Drep and Stone wherever it is you find great podcasts like this one. And just rate Drep and Stone. Tell everyone what's going on and your favorite episodes. And we'd love it. Just a little bit of feedback goes such a long way.
Indeed it does.
Yeah. And finally, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Reach out. Tell someone about... First of all, Scotch. Like, tell someone about Scotch. Hey, what is your love of Scotch?
You ever heard of Scotch?
It's
They
good
do
stuff.
more than just tape.
Correct. You've heard of Ron Burgundy. He likes Scotch. Do you like Scotch?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Have you heard of Drep and Stone while you're thinking of Ron Burgundy?
They like Scotch.
They like Scotch. Have you heard of Scotch? While you're thinking about Scotch, also think about Drep and Stone. Tell those people, hey, we've got friends. We know them personally. Kyle, Nick, the curators of this Drep and Stone community. And they would love to reach out to you and talk to you about the world of whiskey, the world of drinks, and the world of popular culture and nerddom and all the things that we love to talk about.
Yep. I got lost in that, man.
That's okay. That is the correct response. I said a lot of words, and we've had a lot of
There's
Scotch.
a lot happening.
Yeah, that's all right. All that to say, like, just reach out, tell someone about Drep and Stone. It's gonna do a good thing for all things.
Indeed.
Yeah. Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Which glass do you want to toast with? I'm gonna go with the Strid de Her.
I got the straight up 12 here.
All right.
It was the easiest to grab.
May your glass overflow.
And your ass never show. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. I should have worn my kilt for this, Kyle. Thanks, you.
It's getting good, man.
Nobody can hear what you're saying because you're not talking in the mic.
Oh, they heard it.
Sure.
Like, I'm ready.
Can I say real quick?
Inappropriate. That math doesn't add up.
I don't disagree with you.
I don't know. Something wrong.
Who? Nope. Who?
What was that?
I almost had whiskey come out my nose, Kyle.
Stay right there.
You want to say that all again?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
At this age, yeah. That's where they end up. This smells like maple syrup and pancakes. That's maple syrup and pancakes.
Eiffel Tower.
Cool.
Arc de Triomphe.
Yeah.
The Louvre.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep moving.
Okay, bye.
Like, we were supposed to be on a plane today.
Really?
Yeah.
Crushed it.
I know. Boom.